Good afternoon to all the guests and colleagues. So we are going to start this session now. I hope like everybody had a very nice lunch and good food and all those things, so everybody is happy. So now we will have some food for our thoughts and memories. So this is one of the major milestone of Sheenlac. So with that, I will hand over the mic to Mr. Janita. So please.
A very good afternoon to everyone. On behalf of the company, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Mr. Satish Raman, all our guests of honor, and each and every one from Sheenlac family for this grand inauguration of our new facility for industrial and specialty coating. Now, this is a moment of pride for the Sheenlac as we take a step ahead into another milestone. So I request our MD, Mr. Sudhir Peter, to reach out to Mr. Satish Raman to hand over the bouquet. I would call upon our Managing Director, Mr. Sudhir Peter, and also Mr. Ramakrishnan, who is also known as Ramki, to come up on the dais and just give an introduction about the company and the future plans.
I'll just tell a journey about how Sheenlac started and how it all evolved. So it was started by my father, Mr. John Peter. He started in 1962, and we started more focused with the thinners and range of products. After that, we scaled up to be one among the top 5 companies in paint industry. Mr. Bay is a representative of Sheenlac Neuro Coating from Korea. He has been with us for the last 2 years. He takes care of the technical division for Sheenlac Neuro. We are focused more into the auto OEM market and into the auto refinish market. Some small changes that has happened over the last 5 to 10 years. Till 2010, we were more focused into the southern market, and from there we started shifting the focus into the northern and eastern market. With this acquisition of Jensen Nicholson, that became easier for us to move to those areas. Now we are present in Sri Lanka also, so we are in 2 countries. We have around 18,000 net dealers with us who are totally online connected with us. Our vision is to become a $1 billion company by 2025. I'm sure with the support of the vendors who are here and the customers who are here, we should be able to achieve it. What do you feel, sir? Thank you very much. I'll hand it over to Mr. Ramki, who can take it over from there.
I can remember one, very famous quote from an African proverb. It says that unless the lion is able to tell its own story. The story of the hunt will always be told by the hunter. Now, from what I know of this company, with which I've been dealing with now for close to about 6-7 months, and what Sudhir got displaced, I think there's a great need to tell the story. So I think what was really told is about the story of the past. And I think he has left it to me to really sort of picture the story of the future, or at least the immediate future. So what are we trying to do? In very briefly, we're trying to do basically three things, which is the fundamentals of marketing, one would say. One is try to expand your product range, by which it's able to reach a larger customer base. That's the first thing that we are trying to do is, can we become a very holistic, all-round company, which is able to deal with the verticals we believe we should deal with. That's number one. The number two that we are trying to do is, how do we improve our customer space? It's nice to have 9,000 dealers, but it's nice to have 50,000 users as well, right? The third is, which is the area where I've been involved for 2 decades, is how do we make our general industrial scope far more comprehensive? So these are the three verticals on which the product portfolio is now being designed. From a buildings and construction perspective, we believe that we should aspire to be a company which can supply anything from the basement to the helipad, and anything which can do from the metal to the roof. So this picture, though it's not very clear, it's a very good picture, but unfortunately on the LED screen it's not come out very well. This really tells the story of the company in one slide. What do we really want to do in the buildings and structures? Now Sailesh Rajan, who's going to head that vertical, this is his marketing strategy in one page. Can he deliver everything from bottom to top, and can he deliver everything from the roof to the metal? So that's the whole conceptual methodology. So this is a market which is growing. Our GDP is largely dependent on automobile, at least on the industrial area. I think there's great space on the automotive. There is extraordinary space in buildings and structures. So I think we have invested our money and time in the right area. Last slide. Okay, this is my favorite slide. I would put everything in one slide, saying that if I have to give it to our sales guy and tell him, boss, go and fetch customer, honestly, I want to give this slide, because we want to fetch all customers in mining, all in OEM, all in infrastructure, all water, all maintenance, eventually oil and gas, because that will take some time for us to build the capability. I have two very old friends and extraordinary dear, in terms of what they do, Dr. Samir Digan and Professor Khanna. I thought I should take the opportunity to invite them, and I think they have a little story about their respective area they're doing, which is what their deliverables are to corrosion protection. And Professor Khanna obviously has done extraordinary work in the area of testing accreditation, and so on and so forth. Dr. Samir Digan, no introduction, but since he has got doctor, he's got everything known. Yeah.
Mr. Peter, thank you very much, and congratulations on a great achievement on this new factory of yours. And I compliment the whole group for achieving this. It's a fantastic job, and I'm very, very honored to be here. What I'm happy to tell you is that NACE internationally has made a push to address these specific concerns and talk to governments and carry people along with them. In India, we've been actively engaged with the government for the last 4 years, and based on feedback they gave us, they asked us to release a cost of corrosion study for India. I'm happy to tell you that this report is almost ready. It will be out by the end of September, and the formal launch will take place at the end of November in Delhi. This should all lead to a situation where it's going to provide an opportunity for all the companies, and especially a company like yours, which is expanding into so many fields, gives you a foothold and an opportunity to move much faster. And since I said so much about NACE, and my old drinking friend is here, Mr. Khanna, Professor Khanna, I am very happy to tell you he's the first Indian who ever became a NACE fellow. And that's an award nobody can take away from him. I compliment you on that, sir. So thank you very much, Mr. Peters, and wish you the very, very best.
First of all, warm welcome on this hottest day. And third, I am slightly surprised why this inauguration after 60 years, almost 60 years, when this company is already running, why this inauguration now? Maybe there is a expansion in the activities and perhaps a new place to work. So, keeping that in mind, I will say that heartily congratulations and best wishes from me and from my organization. So I'm proud to say that one of the organizations which is known as a think tank for coating is SSPC, and I hope we will be in collaboration with you to learn something from you and at the same time give something to you through our many activities. The second things which we are going to start now is the graphene production. And I can tell you that graphene is the most important thing for the coming decade. It has so many applications, restricting to the applications in the coatings. Perhaps you will make the most wonderful coatings using graphene. You showed the example of windmills. I can tell you, you will forget about inorganic zinc silicate or organic zinc rich coating. Apply a graphene based primer. That itself will give you a life assured by 40 years or so, followed by the other top coats. So I think some of these products are there. As a new company, you should start some good Indian paints. You must do for Korea and Japan, but also take some products which are made in India. That will also help you to make 2025 the target which you are making. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me.
Before I could call upon our chief guest to the dais, I would like to share a few words about him. Mr. Satish Raman is currently a regional director of CII Southern Region, responsible for managing the operations of 6 southern states based out of the regional headquarters in Chennai. Prior to this, he was the regional head of CII Singapore and Southern East Asia operations covering 10 countries. He was earlier in the CII headquarters in New Delhi, handling key area sectors in manufacturing like steel, mining, textiles, railways, constructions, water equipments, sugar machineries, and many more. Mr. Raman holds a double master's degree in business administration, mass communication, and a graduate diploma in public relations. He also holds an executive degree in visual communication. He has a total of 22 years of experience in the industry. I would welcome our chief guest, Mr. Satish Raman, to please come up on the dais.
I think great to be here in this new plant inauguration, and especially at this time when the focus of the world and India is on our state and the focus of the world is on India. Recently, I just wanted to take some of you through CII. I know CII should be familiar to most of you, but I'll just take 2-3 minutes to talk about CII. We are India's largest industry association with about 9,000 companies as direct members, out of which about micro, small and medium enterprises constitute about 70% of the total membership. The large companies are all part of CII. We're not only present in a Tier 1 city, but also in a Tier 2 and sometimes a Tier 3 city. Now, it's very nice to be amongst all of you, because once I remember way back in 2003, I was part of a chief ministerial delegation from Malaysia, which visited Bangalore city, and we were sitting in Windsor Manor, now it's called ITC. So one of the delegates looked up at the ceiling and he was saying that, what kind of a hotel is this? 5-star hotel, supposed to be one of the best hotels in town, but there is a paint which is peeling, which is what he noticed when he was sitting in a conference. So all that I told him was, what you see is a business opportunity for you. It's a business opportunity for our industry, and it's a business opportunity for people who are outside of India looking at India as a collaborative mode. I think there are enough scope and opportunities. I'm not going to bore you with statistics, but I'll just leave 2-3 points just as information to all of you. As you know, as countries are closing, India is the only, countries are closing when I mean talking about borders are closing, people are saying, me, myself, give jobs, opportunities to their own citizens and people. India is one which is actually liberalizing sectors left, right and center. So that again gives you huge opportunities. There's a huge focus on urbanization, and I think it's important for each one of us to be able to utilize it, utilize this opportunity, the attention that India has today to the fullest advantage. And I'm happy that I'm here part of this great Indian growth story led by Sheenlac today in this wonderful facility. And I wish you all the best, Mr. Peter, for the leadership, and Mr. Ramakrishnan, thanks once again for extending invitation to CII. Pleasure to be with all of you once again. Congratulations. Thank you.
Now, before we come to the end of the ceremony, I would like to once again thank each one of you all for your presence, for your best wishes and support for Sheenlac, for our new venture. now I would request all of you all and our chief guest to please move on to the right-hand side towards the new facility for the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Thank you very much to each one of you who contributed and made this a grand success. All right.
Thank you so much.